Thanks very much to Jonas Androulis, and now I have the pleasure to announce the next speaker on the stage, who will be Wolfgang Hildesheim from IBM, talking about foundation models, generative AI, and classic bots. Where's the best trade-off, use cases, possibilities for integration, and the example of customer service. In 2007, Wolfgang Hildesheim joined IBM Technology, where he first was responsible for the automotive, aerospace, and high-tech practice, and then for the big data industry solution business in Europe. Since 2012, he has been responsible for building and growing IBM's Watson, data science and artificial intelligence business in Europe, with a focus on Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Wolfgang Hildesheim regularly speaks at conferences, publishes on topics of AI, and is a member of national AI commissions, as well as on the board of the working group Artificial Intelligence at Bitkom. Please welcome Wolfgang Hildesheim.
Thank you, Kai. So I'm happy to talk about foundation model, generative AI, and bots, and in particular about specific use cases, what actually is working in the German industry, because as Jonas said, a process has multiple steps, and not everybody will be Gen AI, so the combination is key for success, and a lot of them are in the area of customer service. Everybody of you here in the room had his own ChatGPT moment. My moment was at the beginning of this year when my mother came to me, Marie-Louise, and said, Wolfgang, you need to speak on my birthday, 85th birthday. All my friends are there. So I hold a speech. I integrated this poem, love poem, and read it. And everybody was crying. My mother came and said, oh, wonderful. I really feel the love you have for me. And then I had to say, ChatGPT wrote it. What? This AI? But the AI doesn't have a feeling, that doesn't know me. How is it possible? So big discussion of the ladies between 80 and 90. And then she decided, but you handled it, Wolfgang. So I have confidence in you. And thank you a lot. And I think this is a moment about confidence and mistrust we actually all live through, every city, every company, every country, and our continent. And the capabilities of these models are massive. Here from ChatGPT-4 is a scientific paper, and you over 150 pages you read can compose music, 3D, 2D simulation, molecule simulation, mathematical proofs. It's really, really impressive. Poems, write letters. So we need really to learn this. It's a kind of point in time where mankind learns how to automate intelligence. But there are challenges and issues coming with these large models, like errors, hallucinations, IP infringement, important for B2B. Most companies don't want this. Proprietary models, unclear cost structure, difficult adaptation, non-transparent training data is important, loss of your own sovereignty, and a big discussion of clarity about the risk and the values. And I'm going to talk about how we can build systems dealing with these challenges and issues. So the potential is massive. Here, Bill Gates talks about the biggest invention since the invention of the internet. Here, my favorite podcast from Lex Friedman. I really recommend you sometimes 3 hours on detail on Gen AI. The current study from McKinsey in June showed at the left 4.4 trillion, so 1,000 billion of dollar of productivity increase in the Gen AI closed use cases like text generation, like customer service in particular. On the right, the 25 trillion bill is 5 times the social product of Germany, so 5 times Germany will come on top in the extended use cases where you combine Gen AI and classical AI. And if you go in the details of the study, you see here on the table every industry. The big hit, the blue points are where Gen AI kicks in, is in sales and marketing. So every of your industries will be touched heavily. The blue point is software agents, so this is a particular high productivity. I recommend you to read this, and this gives you a hint where to start. This is customer service, sales, and marketing. So what are these foundations models now about? It's a trend which will not stop, it just started. Over the last years, actually the size became larger and larger, and now size today means more intelligence. This is not the law of nature. I'm doing a project with Helmholtz, and with Helmholtz actually we can compact and run smarter specialized models, so it will be much more in control and fit to your purpose. So we all need to learn how to master this technology. And we have to keep in mind that such a model is different from the application. So first we create a model for a particular purpose, and then there are multiple applications on top of it. Two different capabilities, the model and the application. And here, it's a little bit of a dense of a slide, but I lead you through. Foundational models lead to a new development paradigm. So classical AI is actually silo-oriented. You need to label the data like a chatbot, like image recognition in medicine. You have to do a lot of time, but then you control what you do. Now the foundational model actually are pre-trained, and this piece in the center is the $1 trillion business potential because you don't have to do it. And you load in a lot of data, then you have your model, and then you can adapt it to your needs. You can do prompting, like what I did with the poem for my mother. I learned to write a prompt. You can do then tune the prompt, what is called multi-prompting. You actually can use a lot of prompts to steer a process, or you actually tune an own data model, what is called model tuning, which has massive advantages. And I will then lead you through how you do this and what advantages this has for you in your industry. So we want to be your partner on this journey to help you to manage, develop, and run your business on foundation models, and therefore we highly support open source approaches, like here the Hugging Face page. Who knows Hugging Face here in the room? So you see there are 238,000 models. So we have to see there will be a huge, massive market, and it is existing already now, with all these models, like to summarize text, a very compacted GPT-2 in 16 megabytes. So there's not only a multitude, but there are in different variants of models. So we have to learn to deal with it. And now we can pick a model, and we can, from left to right, we can optimize the prompt, you can do multi-prompting, fine-tuning of the model, or develop our own model. And each of the steps takes more time, more investment, but then you can control better what you want to do. And I show you now how we can do this. There are different types of projects. We could run a project to do a general purpose model for an entire country, a language, like we did here, for instance, with NASA on geospatial climate. Or you can run an industry-specific model for insurance, a company model, or a specialized hardware. So how is now this done, this work with foundational models? You need actually a complete enterprise-ready platform end-to-end. And this platform here has this logo. It's called Watson X. X is for platform. And what the nice thing is about this logo, these different circles actually represent the different models. You can have a large model, for instance, on a German language. You can have a smaller model on, for instance, insurance, and then a little one on a car insurer. And you need to learn, we all need to learn how to combine these things. And the components of such a platform need to be one to deal with all these different models called WatsonX.ai. Then you want to control your own data, WatsonX.data. And of course, very important is the control. Is it really what we want to do? WatsonX.governance. And you see at the bottom this combination with Hugging Face that a lot of these open models can be loaded in and used, so you have a variety of combinations how you can then work. And here I show again what is important, that you have all these things in one environment. The classical AI, and for instance, in a longer process for 1 or 2 steps, and then for 1 or 2 steps the human, and then for 1 or 2 steps the Gen AI. And I show you now how this is working in real life in an insurance company. So the insurance agent comes to his office in the morning and sees here this list of accidents, and he wants to work on the first accident. Then he opens the record of the first accident and sees the image, the text, and all this actually is automatically already processed by the Gen AI agent. And the Gen AI agent did the entity extraction here, the Honda Civic, for instance, the type of the car, the date. Sometimes it's not finding things so clear, it's not perfect. Then it's summarizing, and you see all the recommendations, what the agent need to do next. So not only the extraction, the summarization is happening, but the guidance for the next step. And this is done by a multi-prompt tuning in WatsonX.ai. And here I give you a feeling how this surface looks like. So you see at the top right corner, here this example, pick the Google Flan U2 model. If you have another model, a luminous model from Aleph Alpha, you actually could use this. And then you go down here and see the multi-prompts which are charged into the system, and they are optimized to fill in the form. And here you can now see whether your prompts are really doing what you want to do, that the summarization is okay, and you can improve on a day-by-day basis. So now you want to know how long does it take to build these systems, and I show you here an example in customer care of the Software AG, second largest software company in Germany. And we built in 2 days this system, and they run an Internet of Things platform and want to connect devices. And so here you see in this bot a pretty good text. It's a Gen AI generated text, not like a classical bot where it's sometimes harsh and short, and you can communicate directly against the data of your own data. So no training needed. So this case, a use case is called retrieval augmented use case. So you just crawl the internet site, you just crawl the data, the documents, and you immediately then can talk against this knowledge. And here, for instance, you can you suggest a certain device, of course, Internet of Things, you want to have devices. And here you see this mix of steps where you click and have different types of advancement of the process, or you jump into the document, you jump in other applications, you jump in more detail, and you can develop this in 2 days on existing bot platforms, and including Gen AI capabilities. So how is this now done? And this is done on public cloud infrastructure, which you can as well run on-premise. And I show you here this environment. You see the Watson Assistant, the bot, the AI development kit, and you will see the Gen AI service, which actually summarizes the hits from the semantic search. And this is how you then quickly build systems. And in these services, small foundational models are included. They are efficient, short, and specialized. Some can be adapted, some are not adapted. And this is why this is working well. Here are markets out for years, where you can read what capabilities you can get out of the box. I'll show you now how you combine different AI capabilities using such a platform. And this is actually a discussion of a bank agent, please louder, and customer calling.
Herzlich willkommen in der Business Line der Stadtsparkasse München.
Sie
sprechen mit
a
Stefanie
bank
Meyer.
person calling to a client.
Ja, hallo, Grünberg mein Name. Ich brauche ein neues
This is the
Konto.
client. And you see AI is
Sehr gerne, Frau
summarizing
Grünberg.
the
Hätten Sie
discussion
gerne ein
speech to
Privat- oder ein
text.
Geschäftsgirokonto?
Ein Geschäftskonto bitte.
And based on some words, the AI shows
Wir haben
the
verschiedene
product, a bank account, so
Geschäftsgirokontomodelle
that
für
the
Sie im
agent can
Angebot. Um das
select
richtige
the
Modell
right
für
bank
Sie
account.
auszuwählen, müsste ich wissen, wie viele
And
Umsätze Sie circa im Monat haben.
Umsätze.
so
ja,
here you
ich
see
glaube,
a good
ungefähr
combination
30 pro
between
Monat.
AIs, Gen AIs, and human, and the customer
weniger als 50
creates the
Umsätzen, wie es bei
productivity.
Ihnen der Fall ist,
And
empfehlen wir
in
das
this video,
Geschäftsgirokonto
and this
Classic.
actually
Bei mehr als
the
50 Umsätzen
bank account is opened while they are talking. I can show you on our booth more details. So very important is now this topic, excellence and trust. That's in the title of the coming law. And trust, we need to learn what this means for Gen AI capabilities. And here in this plot, we summarized the different flavors of trustworthiness, fairness, maintainability, accuracy, explainability, transparency, human control, dependency, accountability, safety, and we need to control and learn. It sounds easy, but technical capabilities are behind each of these points, and you need platforms. This is what I showed you before, what's next.governance, who can handle, so you can keep track on these different aspects. And just to remind you, as we heard in the speech of the minister, the Human AI Act follows a risk class approach. So the red, the not acceptable damage is forbidden, but then the second class, the high-risk systems, will be somehow controlled. Basically, it will be tested in some cases from third parties. So all companies who have this capability to test against the European AI Act and who bring products and services on the market compliant with the law have a big advantage. And so what do you need to do? You need to do upfront before you enter the market, before you sell your product. Here, these points on the left side, A2 to A10, and all these different things need to be checked and proven, and you need to find out what is important. And while then you are in the market, you need to check the points B1, B7 monitoring. So this is a kind of really challenge, but then you control in the interest of your clients what you do. And there are now coming out studies and different organizations who do this testing for the European AI Act. Here a Harvard study, and you see on the left side the same parameters coming from the EU, what they can do and not. So some people will not be happy with this study, but the study, the result is not so important. The important is that the capability to control these different aspects important. And here we need AI test factories, AI factories, which we can build up. I'll show you some examples to show the impact on society. Here, one example is from the medical space, tumor recognition. So this company, I'm from Hamburg, it sits on the Reeperbahn, a small company, and they do this world class. And you see here the first classifier in the left upper corner is breast cancer. And when you walk in the office, you see 20,000 had a mammography this day, and 20 people were diagnosed cancer based on this classifier. And in US and China and all over the place they run this because there is this label CE, Communauté Européenne, because it's compliant with our law, they have trust. So our capability to really control this, to test it, to bring it in a proven way in the market is crucial. And here another example, I brought it from Mr. Buschmann, he already talked about it, it's Olga. And so this is a system, an AI, which supports a judge in court. So a lot of the judges have a lot of work and every day the same thing, like, for instance, claims to get the money back if your plane is late. And here's the AI, and they do this 10 times. It costs several hours for one claim. And here the AI reads the paper of the claim and finds out what actually are the business entities relevant for the case. So you see the flight data, you see 1,570 kilometers, 3 hours of delay, and then in the different text blocks, the extraction actually proposes an answer for the judge. All this takes 10 minutes, so it's a 90% ROI. Mr. Buschmann talked about it, Olga, and sometimes the judge wants to change an argumentation, so you have text blocks. So these type of agents will be developed in a lot of mass processing, mass document processes. And of course, you want to be in control how this works. And I showed you why trust and confidence is important, because the underlying systems are important, like the medical system, like our legal system. So to come to an end, what are now the important success factors for us as a city, as a country, as a continent? And we heard this earlier, the magic word is to build an ecosystem. So you should pick your university, your professor, AI professor, and work with students on particular projects. You should pick young digital startups, buy them, build them, work with providers of technology and with your local governments to build these ecosystems around these models, because you alone, you will not be as efficient and good as in an ecosystem. That's why we strongly believe and support the building of ecosystem in AI and in quantum. So I come to the end. What I would now recommend you to do, I really strongly to enjoy this one kind of a moment in mankind. Intelligence actually becomes independent. We can develop our own intelligent services, and this is a fantastic opportunity to be creative. So invest in this megatrend of generative AI foundational models, in investing in people, data, software, and your own AI ecosystem. Focus on cross-industry use cases. Good to start is, as in the McKay study, customer care, agent assist, mass processing data. You can do this on own pre-built models where you curate your own data. No IP infringement. We can show you on our booth outside. And technology is there, and create this solution according to the EU AI Act to make it a unique selling point, trustworthiness of our AI, and a good start as a joint project. Thank you for your attention.